Welcome to Hatman Strikes Back Daily Boxing News. So in a move which has surprised some, Moses Itauma has actually turned down a fight with Frank Sanchez, which would have been an IBF final eliminator. Efe Ajagba had previously pulled out of the same final eliminator with Frank Sanchez. That would have been a rematch. And so that has now led to speculation that Itauma and Ajagba plan to fight each other. Could that be a final eliminator for a different belt? Could there be moves afoot to have Usyk vacate one of the belts so that Itauma and Sanchez fight for that? Or is it none of the above? Because if it is none of the above, the question has to be asked, why would Itauma turn this down? The most obvious answer to me would be that his team think that's a step too far too soon. Frank Sanchez was a very experienced amateur. As a pro, he's 25-1, 18 KOs. And although he hasn't been looking very good over the past few years, he was stopped by Ajit Kabayel in 2024 and had a win against the journeyman earlier on this year. He has shown ability in the past, particularly when he fought Efe Ajagba, for example. He's fast, he's explosive, he can punch. The question is, where's he at physically right now? Because in that Ajit Kabayel fight, his only loss, he got stopped in 7 rounds, he appeared to have a leg injury, a very obvious one. But even before then, in many of his fights, he'd been seen wearing a knee brace, maybe 2 knee braces. You start questioning his age. You know, a lot of these Cuban fighters are giving false ages, in my opinion anyway. Now let's say that Itauma's team have turned this down and they don't have an opponent of comparable quality to Sanchez to fight instead. I wouldn't really have an issue with that. At the end of the day, despite Itauma's lofty ranking with several sanctioning bodies, he is still a professional novice. And as I've said many times before, since that opportunity to break Mike Tyson's record is no longer there, the need to rush him is no longer there. He's just 13-0. I don't think he needs to be challenging for a world title until he's maybe at least 19, 20, 21-0. So in the meantime, he needs rounds. Would Sanchez give him rounds? Maybe. Probably. But I've got no issue with his team thinking that that's maybe unnecessarily risky for now. Now, some other people are going to say it's disappointing that Itauma has turned that fight down because of all the hype, particularly from casuals and certain members of the media. I'm very excited, and I've been expressing my excitement about Itauma in lots of videos even before he turned pro. However, I've never once sat here and said Itauma can beat everyone in the heavyweight division now. Not at all. I always said that I reckon there are certain people in the top 10 he could beat now, but the real upper echelon guys, I don't think he's ready for them. Now, you could say that Frank Sanchez is not real upper echelon, but he's experienced enough and talented enough, in my view, for Itauma's team to justifiably be a bit cautious about that fight, potentially. So again, I don't have any issue with it. 13-0, novice professional, not fighting Frank Sanchez in the final eliminator. Let's see what he does instead. If he chooses Ajagba, that's arguably a more dangerous fight right now based on recent form. Again, Sanchez beat Ajagba, but that was several years ago. And if you look at their performances since, I would say Ajagba has actually put in the better performances. He's certainly been more active. That's another plus point for Ajagba. He can also punch harder than Frank Sanchez. The thing that Sanchez has over Ajagba, at least when he's healthy, is speed, agility. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the situation. We wait and see who Itauma fights next instead. Could you call this a duck? Itauma ducks Frank Sanchez? I mean, I guess you could, but when you look at the vast difference between them in terms of professional experience, I wouldn't choose those words myself. I think Itauma's a little bit of a, I don't want to say victim, because his team have maneuvered him up the rankings in various sanctioning bodies, but what I want to say is his rankings don't really reflect where he's actually at in his career. They make it seem as though he's further along than he really is. So if Itauma doesn't fight in a Ajagba or whatever, who would he fight instead? Could he go the British title route? The winner of Fraser Clark versus Jamie Shakiva? What do you guys reckon? Leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out.